Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is the season finale of Welcome to Plathville, Season 7?
Episode 11.
Every other show we're doing is Season 6, so that really, I was like, did I make a mistake?
No, this one's 7-11.
7-11, The Reckoning. Tensions linger after the wedding as the family confronts Veronica. Micah faces tough questions about his relationship. Kim and Barry sit down for an unexpected drink while Ethan and Olivia meet for the first time in a year and a half.
This felt like two different episodes that got kind of smushed together here to round things out, I guess.
There was a rumor that there wasn't supposed to be an 11th episode and that they went back and added it. I don't know if that's true.
Well, or like, yeah, or if just like the Veronica berating that took place was just they had so much of that to go through. And so they didn't have enough time to put it all in one episode. They had to just spill it over into an extra episode here and then fill in the back half there.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, though, because the first 20-ish minutes are the continuation of last week's episode with Veronica and then rounding out the storyline of what happens to her. And then we pick up with this weird mishmash of Barry and Kim and then Ethan and Olivia.
Yeah, and then also a little bit of Lydia and Zach sprinkled in throughout as well, which that's where we started in on this episode, was Lydia and Zach taking off the morning after their wedding, headed to Paris. They're going to Europe.
They're like blissfully unaware that anything went down after the wedding.
Oh, this is wedded bliss, ignorance is bliss. Combination here. And some things did go down after the wedding, though.
They went up.
They confirmed. Well, maybe.
Technically.
Both. Maybe both. Some went down, others went up. But they're not one to fucking tell.
No, they're not going to talk about it. We knew we weren't going to get details from them.
No.
They're much too prude for that.
Pure and beautiful is how Lydia described it. Is that how you describe the physical act of lovemaking?
Pure and beautiful?
Pure and beautiful.
I think that is exactly what I would expect Lydia Plath to say. Yeah.
I think she has to tell herself that it's pure and beautiful, but she still thinks it's kind of yucky and gross.
You know what she reminds me of? Okay, I'm gonna dive deep into a Tudor story now.
Okay.
So you can disassociate if you want.
I shall do that.
So Anne of Cleves, when she was married to King Henry VIII, one of the things that they said about her was, well, first of all, they were never fucking. Wasn't happening. Debatable about why. But the story is that she was unaware that the act was not happening because she thought that just kissing in bed was all that needed to take place. And the other women kind of laughed at her. They were like, wow, she's really naive. That is kind of what I think of Lydia.
You're saying that Lydia, that's how she spent her wedding night and was like, wow.
Maybe she knows what happened. Maybe she doesn't.
They were trying to, I think that's what Kim and Barry's main conversation was before the wedding too, where they were like, hey, you know how it all works and stuff, right? And basically they just had to say, yeah, don't worry about it. We got it. And they were like, okay, thank God.
I think she never got the talk.
So, yeah, I don't think we'll just have to check those sources then, because, yeah, if she heard it from Anna Cleves, then I don't think that's a reliable source.
Has Zach been watching Seeking Sister Wife? Because the way he describes it is they now have a chemical connection.
Seeking Sister Wife, we're close into some Garrick territory as well. So there's like the sister wives hormone in the mouth sort of theory, and then the Garrick Merrifield sperm going into your brain science that we get fed every season here now.
We don't know which he was referring to.
I don't know. They didn't let him finish that thought because he kind of veered off. He was just kind of word salading because they're trying to be vague. They're not trying to directly talk about what actually took place. So then he's saying all this other stuff that doesn't make any sense. Talking about how he merges with the surroundings.
You know what I was shocked about? They're only going to Germany for 2.5 weeks. They had to get married because they're going to Germany for less than 3 weeks together. I thought this was like an extended, like we're going to be there for a number of months. It's like a long-term stay, something. They were working in a church, right?
No, I'm telling you, it's because they didn't want to pay for another room. They were like, we can send you both.
The church didn't want to pay for another room. The church didn't.
Yeah, the church was like, look, we can send you both. We would love to have both of you there. But we can't have two single young adult man and woman staying in the same room, and we can only afford one room. So the only way around this is that you guys are going to have to get married. It's time, kids. And so they pushed for that. Youth pastor approved.
I couldn't believe that was the time frame. Like, you guys couldn't figure out how to make that amount of time work continuing to be abstinent.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was going to be impossible to not get laid in Germany during Oktoberfucked.
Do you want to go back to Veronica? She's still on this couch getting screamed at.
Okay, because that was an Emmy-worthy cut, because it was basically Lydia and Zach in the car on the way to the airport, patting themselves on the back for what a great wedding that they were able to put together. It went off without a hitch. There were no issues, no drama whatsoever. It was such a good day. And then cut to Isaac screaming, "Your woman wants to be like Olivia. Is that what you want?" And Veronica is mid-attack here by everybody else in the room at the Plath family farm.
I don't know how she didn't just get up and walk away.
I think she knew that they were trying to blame her for stuff, but I don't think that she realized that it was going to happen this way at this level.
Micah gives her an ultimatum of change or it's over.
That's how this system works. That's how this family works.
Right. You need to adapt to fit in within the toxic family system.
Fit this mold. You have to assume your role and responsibility like everybody else does. We all have our positions that we hold.
But Micah says that, and then she starts to try to walk back the accusation that she made about Tegan. Now she's not sure. Like, maybe she didn't.
Well, I didn't see the site. It was probably like a clickbait article.
I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. She was so sure of it up until this point, and now he threatens to end the relationship, and suddenly, like, it's possible that I wasn't correct about it.
Anything's possible, though.
Okay, but that's her in the talking head, and that's after the breakup has already happened. So now she's again trying to walk back what she said in that conversation. She will not stop just making everything worse.
Right.
She just buries herself.
On the opposite side of that, you have Tegan who's trying to save face, where she's sitting in a room where 5 other adults and her are dogpiling on Veronica and telling her how horrible of a person she is and how every single thing that's wrong in this family is due to Veronica's existence and involvement here. And then in her talking head afterward, she's like, man, that was kind of rough. Like, I can't imagine being in Veronica's position where like an entire room full of people are blaming you for stuff. Like, I feel kind of bad about that. And it's like, well, you felt real good about it when you picked up your pitchfork with the rest of them in the living room.
It's funny that the wheels are kind of spinning there. I'm not sure if she made the connection that, wow, I hope this never ends up being me.
No, I don't think she did. So that's the thing is it's like, well, the mob mentality is really fun. And then I think I should probably feel bad about it, though, afterwards, because that wasn't really a great resolution, I think, on a relationship here. To have this be the final conversation in Micah and Veronica's relationship, that's a lot.
I haven't liked her for a lot of the season just because I don't think that she contributes very much or has a lot of her own original thoughts. But I lost even more respect for her that you wouldn't just say, especially to your boyfriend, I don't like the way you're talking to her. I understand that you're upset and that like tensions are high, but I don't want you screaming at another person.
Yeah, but then that would be going against Ethan.
That's a problem.
That would mean that you're siding with Veronica in that moment.
She's morphing into Olivia.
And everybody will turn on you next. Yeah, because then it's, if anybody sees any
That's a good
single
test.
trait.
Let's see. Do they? Let's see if they'll do it.
Like if if they will transform like Animorph style into Olivia in front of our eyes. Is that what you're testing?
Let's see if everyone's going to turn on you because you stand up for somebody.
Oh, yeah, that would be a fun test.
I mean, doesn't that just prove out what we've been saying? That if the family system is toxic and you have to adhere to it, then if she had said something counter to what they wanted her to do in that moment, then they would have turned on her too, even though they had no reason to up until then. I don't know. It happened in another timeline.
It's only a matter of time. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That is what I still wish Veronica would have pointed out to Tegan and to Kaylin and say, just wait your turn because it's coming. Because once I'm gone, they're going to be looking around and looking over their shoulder to try to find the next person to pin all this crap on.
In the last episode, I was really waiting for Veronica to bring up the cheating stuff.
She did here.
She finally got there. So the whole reason she was worried about Tegan having an OF is that she was afraid Micah would cheat on her again. And instead of that hitting the way that she thought it would, Ethan jumps on her because now she's accusing Micah of being willing to have a relationship with his girlfriend.
And the vulgarity of that.
Except, didn't he say something weird about it? That made it sound like Micah was in a relationship with
Micah
Tegan?
would cheat on Tegan. Cheat on you with Tegan. It's just the verbiage that was used.
I know he was heated, but I was expecting Veronica to jump on that and be like, oh, confirmation. So they are together.
Oh, they are together.
If she really wanted to ratchet things up a little bit more, she could have.
I think she knew that things were already pretty heated at this point after she had agreed that she would like to be like Olivia more, and that was pretty much all she needed to say to set all of these people off at this point. Micah is really just fishing for an apology for all of the mean, hurtful things that Veronica has said to him throughout their relationship, mostly in the past few months, like after he told her that he cheated on her.
The spineless worm stuff.
Mostly related to the spineless worm incident, I think, is what it's probably related to.
Incidents.
But, like, that's not going to happen. His main concern was that I hope she didn't mean that. Like, I hope she apologizes and is like, oh, I said that out of anger. No, she meant all of that stuff that she said, dude. So, like, she's not apologizing for any of that stuff. That is what it is at this point.
Well, he doesn't get in his apology, so I guess that's why he decides it's over. Look, we're gonna go back to Boca. I'm gonna get all my stuff, and this relationship, this is the end of the road.
Well, because if Veronica's asking him, okay, well, are you blaming me for what happened to your nose? Like, just so we're all on the same page, I need to hear you confirm that because it's sounding like you're blaming me for Isaac punching you in the face when I was 3 towns away, asleep in a hotel bedroom, and you guys were drinking and fighting at a wedding reception. Am I getting that right? Are the facts lining up here? And Micah confirms, yes. And actually, everyone in the room agrees, yes. We are all blaming you, Veronica, for this. Okay, well, that's enough for me, I think, at that point, too, to realize this is a fucking mess. Because then Mama Plath jumps in.
Of course she did.
To clarify as well, yes. Can you not see, Veronica, that you are the root of everything that has been wrong with this family? Everyone else gets along perfectly fine. No issues, no complaints whatsoever. You, Veronica, you are the common denominator in all things wrong with this family.
Isn't it funny that they have amnesia about the fact that they tried to run Zach off like 2 days ago?
It was 2 days ago.
Everyone else gets along.
Flawless.
There are no problems.
Nothing else. It's all your fault. And we're upset about it because I think that's why we were so uninviting of Zach, is because we were on defense because you rubbed us the wrong way. They didn't even go that far to make that connection.
Not that we saw on camera. It's probably on a cutting room floor somewhere.
I'm pointing it out for the absurdity factor, okay? That's the joke.
Kim was just foaming at the mouth because she wishes she could do this with Barry.
And how, oh my God, how are those ground rules going, Kimmy? Because at the beginning of this conversation, you're talking about we need to sit down and discuss this like adults. No yelling, no attacking. And then at one point, Kim's like, yeah, we are attacking you, Veronica, because it's your fault.
Because you've attacked every single one of us.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I'm yelling and attacking.
It was embarrassing. Like, I had secondhand cringe watching Veronica the rest of this because now she's still stuck in the house with all of them.
Oh, this is weird.
And they're trying to figure out the logistics of how they're going to handle their breakup.
Well, because it's like, it's a breakup that's happened in a room full of people, in a house, in another state. And then there wasn't really a big reaction from Veronica. I think that threw them off too. Like they were expecting her to flip out or something. I think
they wanted her to be in tears.
They wanted...
And beg Micah to take her back.
Yeah, or like something. Like they didn't get anything from it. So it was kind of a dud. Like it fell flat for them in terms of this experience. It's not what they were expecting.
There was no payoff at the end.
Yeah, like they had worked so hard to upset Veronica so much and then blame her for all this stuff. They wanted to see something for that. So then Mama Plath comes back in and gets a couple extra digs in at the end too. I think Ethan was saying something about how you missed out on a good family. That's a laugh. That's a laugh.
She rolled her eyes at him, I think.
You dodged a bullet here is what happened. But yeah, for Kim to come back when everybody else had left the room and it's just Kim and Veronica. And she's like, I was on your side up until I heard about the things that you were saying behind my back. So don't ever say that we didn't try to let you in because we did. And you didn't let us in, Veronica. Are we completely forgetting the first what few months of their relationship? No, years?
This relationship was like 2.5 years long.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years, they were singing Veronica's praises.
It was great. Her. Yes. She fit perfectly when she first arrived. And then she was one of the people who was getting along great. And look at Olivia. It's Olivia's fault that nobody's getting along. But now things have kind of shifted around a little bit here. So Kim's whole stance is bullshit because then Veronica even apologizes. I'm sorry for saying the mean things that I said about you, Kim, in this moment.
Are we going to say that was a genuine apology?
Like at that point, I feel like it was a genuine apology to Kim because she did kind of blindside her. I don't think that Veronica was as open with her disdain of Kim. So that was kind of something that she still felt bad about.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. Most of the people that Veronica focused her attention on were like the guys and their girlfriends.
Yeah.
It really wasn't so much Mama Plath.
Not so much. So I don't know if she was just like, kind of caught in the crossfire there a little bit, or if it was just like, I don't think that Kim realized that they weren't in good standing. Kim thought they were good for the most part or something like. So there was some level of it there that Veronica felt bad about. If she didn't, she wouldn't have said, I'm sorry, because she didn't apologize to Micah for any of the stuff that she said to him. And some of that stuff was pretty brutal, but yeah. I think she meant it. That's why.
I guess that's a good point. She's not really one to dole out apologies.
No. So that, I think that enough was reason for me to believe, I think she means it. I also believe that Kim was like, I don't want that apology. I don't trust you. And it's like, well, yeah, nobody trusts each other here. Nobody was approaching this conversation in good faith to try to work anything out. This was an ambush from the beginning.
If you think about the timeline, the relationship between Mike and Veronica and the rest of the family seemed to be okay until Micah cheated on her.
Right. That's when Veronica kind of threw everything to the side. She really stopped caring and kind of let loose. Because
that coincides with the Mariah relationship falling apart as well.
Yeah.
And then her not taking Kim's calls anymore. And then she does say, because they have a few confessional interviews with her, maybe I did light a match.
Maybe I did sabotage it at the end here. And so what if I did?
This could be my own bias because I know this was my theory. And I brought it up earlier this season that I thought that she was knowingly doing all of this as a way to get back at Micah for cheating on her.
We brought that up the first time they introduced her on the show. And we were like, oh, she seems like somebody who would be very petty in a breakup. So,
a burn it all down kind of person.
Yeah. Like that. We said that from the moment that she was on the screen, the first time on this show. So we've stuck with that.
I think that's as close to an admission of guilt as we're going to get from her.
Which is fine. I mean, she goes into a whole bunch of like science analogies and chemistry and things that the Plaths won't understand.
So tired of all the analogies in this episode because they kept happening. Then when they literally set a fire, I was like, we get it, guys.
Yeah. Heavy on the symbolism. We can back off a little bit. But now the logistics come into play where it's, all right, well, we have to get from Cairo to Boca for Micah to get his stuff. And he has a ton of crap at that house. 2 boats, 2 motorcycles, a car, and what I don't even know. There's just a ton of vehicles.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
I guess so. And so Micah was offering up, hey, I'll drive you back to Boca. We'll spend 8 hours in the car together, sure.
As long as you want to hang out with Isaac, too. Isaac and Ethan are coming.
Why would you extend that? Well, okay, so I think it was originally when he offered that up, it was just going to be Micah and Veronica in the truck. And then Mama Plath heard about that idea, and she was like, if Veronica's riding back with you, you need someone else from this group who just attacked Veronica. So then that way you're safe, because Veronica will manipulate you. If she talks to you alone for 7 hours in the car, then you're going to change your mind, and then you're going to get mad at us.
Yeah, they think that he's weak of mind, that he's not going to be able to stick to this.
It's the same feeble-mindedness that Mariah struggles with as well, that she talks to the devil in the suit and tie, and he has all the answers that sound so good, and you just need to talk to him too, Ethan, and you'll understand the way that Mariah understands that he has a reason for everything.
Well, like, I don't think it's a good idea either, but not from the perspective of like worrying that Veronica is going to say a bunch of stuff to turn him against the family and then side with her suddenly. I just think it's dangerous when 2 people have been in a heated fight to now drive almost 8 hours back somewhere together.
Okay, so here's a great idea. We'll send Isaac, who just punched Micah in the face less than 12 hours ago, and send him to the hospital. That ought to de-escalate things really well.
You know, I don't even blame Veronica, because I know she was flipping out online telling the story of how this all went down, you know, questionable as to whether or not it's all true. They certainly contradict it in this episode. But I wouldn't want Ethan and Isaac in my house.
No.
After how violent Isaac just was, and then having them all personally attack me, I would not want them in my home.
No, rightfully so. Yeah, I mean, so the story gets a little convoluted here. So I don't know if maybe she took that as they had a set plan that he was going to drive her back to Boca. And now it was, nope, Isaac and Ethan are driving back. And they just jumped in the truck and then left. And then so for her, she was like, well, the plan was that. And now it's not. Now I don't have a ride home. I have to figure out how I'm getting back to Boca on my own. So is that the same as stranding someone on the side of the road, though?
It was in the driveway of the farm.
You're at a house. The producers are taking you back to your hotel that you stayed at. Like, you're not, that's not the same thing. Like when she was describing it as that. So this is where we're seeing like the embellishment is an accurate thing here, where like she'll kind of drum things up or focus on certain details of the story and then really amplify that to her benefit.
What she said went down was that Micah drove back with Isaac and Ethan, which we saw, but that they were basically in a race against time to get there before her so that then they could bust into the house, and that they were trying to break into the house and she had to call the police. And that's how the police got involved, for him to then take his stuff.
Right. Or like somebody was trying to change the locks before they got there or something like that. Yeah, there was something along those lines.
Instead, we get a screen that just cuts to black. And then what production is saying happened was that they escorted her back home.
To the hotel.
And then she flew. She made her way home.
Yeah.
She flew home. And that Micah got his stuff with a police officer.
Well, Kim would say that she flew on her broom. But that was not, confirmed or denied. It wasn't caught on camera.
We didn't hear shit from Barry until now. Barry was not involved in any of this. And then I hate this man so much. Like, whenever anybody lets Barry off for his behavior, I'm like, this is the little glimpses of who the real Barry is. So the whole problem that started this season was that Veronica was upset that Barry called her a liar about everything that went down with the devil in the suit and tie. Now he says, oh, I never called her a liar. I just said she may have embellished a little.
And that she's
Is
not...
that not a that's a liar.
Not truthful. Entirely truthful about things. See, I will never...
That's splitting hairs.
I will never forgive Veronica for vindicating Barry Plath.
I know.
You gave him the opportunity where he gets to say, I never said that she was a liar, but now she's going online and like lying and stuff. I guess that makes her a liar.
And then you get that little look.
Because it's like, well, I guess even though I didn't say it, I was right all along.
Mm-hmm, that self-gratifying look.
And it's like, oh no. See, you're just laying everything out in front of them exactly like you're playing into their hand. It's terrible. So that's what I really don't like about the downfall of Veronica here, is that she thought that she was going to get the last laugh here as part of this to kind of cause some turmoil on her way out here. But no, you're just solidifying the bond between all of these horrible, toxic people.
And it created the thread that weaves through this entire episode, which was just disgusting because none of these people are having to take accountability for their own behavior. It's all about these two women, Veronica and Olivia.
Yep. Well, and then, okay, the other part that I didn't like in this segment here was when Ethan was combating all of these horrible lies that Veronica is now spreading online about them, where he was laughing away the incestuous remarks that she was claiming here too. The thing I'd like to point out is that you can have incestuous relationships without going full Duggar, if you know what I'm saying. Because like in the next scene, we have Ethan making the croissants with cream remark to Lydia. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
like,
it doesn't look good when you're obsessed with your sister's sexual activity.
Like,
it's
there's
weird.
levels of like, and just the dynamic that you see of the dependency and codependency that is in all of these relationships that is completely reliant on, like, the entire family system is based on this family finding an outsider and then blaming everything on them.
I think Veronica just doesn't have the right language where she's saying incestuous because, you know, that's salacious, but she really means enmeshed.
I think she meant I think there to be fair, I think she was making claims about like incest relationships in general too. But like,
it's hard to keep up with everything.
It's hard to keep track.
Man.
Yeah, for that.
The last thing I want to say about this was Micah talks about how he talked with his therapist about the breakup, and I thought, oh, good. And then it became very clear that this is not a therapist that, in my opinion, has the credentials that they should be seeing somebody. Because they go on to say, well, did you ever think that maybe God sent Veronica to show you the value of a relationship in your life, that you're ready to settle down and then you want a monogamous relationship?
Maybe the message from God is get married and have kids. Like, not with her, but like, you know, in general.
This is a church therapist, right?
I mean, I didn't get their resume or anything. I don't know.
It sounds like it.
Sounds like it.
I've never had a therapist, and girl, I've been in therapy. I've never had a therapist suggest to me that maybe this was God's way of telling me something.
Also, I think they know pretty quick based on a lot of my opinions and the things that I say where they're like, maybe we shouldn't suggest that sort of a thing, I guess. I don't know. Like, if religion is a very important thing for Micah, he's made that abundantly clear in therapy, then that would be their frame of...
But then doesn't that feel manipulative?
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
To frame your opinion that way?
Usually, if you're going to a therapist, they're not going to try to tell you what you're feeling. They'll ask you questions so you can process through your own feelings or reach your conclusions. But like, to steer you in a direction that hard, especially when it's something where it's like, well, maybe you should get married and have kids. Okay, that seems to be a narrative that really aligns with a specific group type that we're talking about here. And that seems a little fishy.
I hope he's single and we don't have to watch him in another relationship next season.
Oh, I'm sure he'll end up with Tegan soon. After Ethan breaks up with her. Because then he'll move to Wisconsin for her because she couldn't move to Cairo for Ethan.
Well, speaking of manipulation, because that was an accusation that Kim was throwing out about Veronica, she is sitting down with Ethan today, and she has bought a pack of cigars for them to enjoy together.
Yes, but she needs Ethan to give her a cigar lesson because the only cigar she's ever smoked was a puff of someone's back in college, and she inhaled too deeply because she thought she was smoking something else. She's used to smoking other stuff, okay? And so she breathed in a little too deep. That's not how you're supposed to enjoy a cigar. So she's got to learn from the pro here. Ethan knows. Just the tip. You got to bite the tip off, even though you got to get a cigar cutter. So this is upsetting. If he is smoking...
For the number of cigars that the man has been smoking just in one season, you think that he would get the proper tools.
Yeah, because if you're just going to be biting the paper and so, like, no, don't do that.
Kim's got the teeth for it. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't lipstick on her teeth, but there was definitely cigar paper on her teeth.
This time.
For this one. Yeah, not this time.
Just wow, what a turn of events. The woman who wouldn't let her kids listen to secular music, wouldn't let them have any sugar. She's sitting here today smoking a cigar with Ethan and just talking about how great it is to finally be able to spend all this time with him.
Well, Ethan's apologizing to Kim again. Sorry about all those horrible years when I was with Olivia because she made me a terrible person and I turned away from the family. And how horrible was that? Now I've been reading and developing and I know that that's really messed up. Can we see some of those sources? Can we get some citations for the content that he is consuming that has led him to these realizations?
It's themanosphere.com.
I would love to see a little glimpse into that.
He's in like a divorce subreddit somewhere.
I think my favorite part of this whole conversation is the fact that he's telling Kim it's so freeing to not have to walk on eggshells and not to answer to anyone. And then there's like an audible pause where there's an unspoken like, right, mom? like who are you answering to right now? You're answering to Kim. You are doing everything in your orbit to align with Kim.
Well, and it makes me worried about what your future relationship's going to be like, because if all you learned coming out of your first marriage is, oh, I'm just not going to listen to any woman. It's like, so you aren't going to have an equal relationship where your partner and you make decisions together. Instead, it's going to be that everything's the way you want it to be and you don't take no shit from no woman.
Yeah, he's going full patriarchy like Cody Brown did after he got divorced, too. Seems to be the response for fragile masculinity.
Yeah, the small little piece that we got that was actually on point was when he said, I couldn't articulate my thoughts and feelings very well. Yeah, that's
true.
Correct. And that's because this woman sitting right next to you right here didn't teach you to do that.
Yeah, nobody did. Nobody in your life gave you those tools. And so you were kind of trapped in your own head in that whole relationship. But also, I'm sure that he's been confused and like through the arguments that he's had with Olivia throughout their marriage, because she would quote the Bible to him in religious texts and like the context of their discussion that's happening of like the things that should be done. And then he'll get upset about that because that's not how you're supposed to use that. Oh, I don't like that. That contradicts here or in this way. And it's confusing.
So you think his entire framework of the world was being challenged and that was part of the problem?
Constantly. And then that's what he's saying. Well, now I can read up on this stuff. I don't think he was talking about, oh, I wasn't like prepared to navigate my emotions with Olivia, who was my wife at the time. I don't think he's talking about that sort of vocabulary and things that he's brushed up on now and is able to express freely. I think he was talking about like, he didn't know how to articulate his own beliefs because Olivia would win those debates.
I actually think that you're probably right about that. That's what he means. Like he's solidified what his beliefs are now and that's where it's all coming from.
And it's take it or leave it. I'm not going to have anybody talk me out of this or try to trick me anymore because I'm doubling down and I'm digging my heels in.
Well, as they're having this bonding moment together, I was unclear of whether Lydia called them or they called Lydia.
It seemed like Lydia called them because that was...
From the Louvre?
from the Louvre.
The inside of the Louvre.
They were about to go see the Mona Lisa, and she said, "You know who would love this? Mama Plath."
Oh, just a patron of the arts.
I gotta check in. So she did, and Ethan is immediately asking how the deed went down, and Lydia and Zach are pretending not to hear him. They're like, the receptions, I didn't catch that last part.
Could you imagine you're standing in the Louvre with thousands of people around you, and you have the volume on your phone cranked up because you're talking to your mom and your brother, and that's what they're asking you in front of everybody else?
So they have to continue to pretend like they don't hear what you're saying. The signal reception, I'm not getting that part. Let's talk about something else then and see if my cell reception improves. What other updates do you guys have for me?
Oh, this is exciting.
Well, I've been pretty busy the past few days because I had to go pick up all of Micah's stuff. Him and Veronica broke up. Isaac
Isaac beat the nose off his face after your wedding.
Yeah. Oh, that was you remember the night of your wedding? Yeah. Isaac punched Micah in the face. He had to go to the hospital. And then we blamed everything on Veronica. And so then they broke up. So a lot's happened in 2 days. Yeah. It's been.
She looks horrified.
The look on Lydia's face. Well, first she found out about the breakup. It just kind of in passing. And she was like, oh, I guess I should call Micah. She looked so sad and heartbroken because she feels bad for Micah. And then she's hearing about a fist fight with Isaac that ripped his nose off. And then she's like, okay, well, thanks for the update, I guess.
Is there anything else I should know about?
Thanks for the update, I guess. Sorry I called. I think my phone's running out of battery. I have to go now.
That was just her. And then Zach just looks like his soul has left his body. Because I think what's running through his head is, wow, they could have beaten the nose off of my face. They certainly wanted to.
Definitely. Yeah, that could have been my nose. How close I came.
I could have been noseless at the Louvre right now.
No way, man. Yeah, forget it.
Oh, but before they go, Ethan has to make one last perverted comment about making sure that Zach fills the croissants with cream. Do you think Zach understood that?
I think it's pretty limited on what Ethan's going to be joking about.
Oh.
And so, yeah, when he's laughing and joking. But it's again, being kind of the butt of the joke is that it's Lydia and Zach's marriage is the butt of the joke. So that's where it's disrespectful, right? Is that you're not just making a joke about enjoying each other in a physical sense. You're kind of mocking their marriage and the whole reason why they got married type of a thing.
It's just the whole thing's gross. And I feel like Ethan's obsessed with talking about sex because he thinks that it's a reflection of his masculinity.
Well, I thought that was what was funny because then we get this in the next bit when Kim and Barry are meeting up at a wine bar where they're talking about how Ethan used to be all jumbled up, all upset about stuff, not getting along with the family. And that was all Olivia's fault. And it's just nice to see, the happy guy back.
Remember when we first watched, I think it was season 1, and they kept talking about him being the clown. And that was something that they talked about in other seasons too, about how upset they were that they didn't have him around to be the one to lift their spirits and make jokes and stuff. And how that's his role in this family system.
Yes.
So, of course, they're relieved to have him back in the role that they put him in and that they want him in.
Well, what's interesting is it's an adapted role because now it's raunchy humor, Ethan, which is adapted to Mom Springa Kim, who is wet and wild and out there now too. And so it's so that becomes the shift of they're seeing it as growth. And it's no, you're doing the same fucking thing that you did as a kid.
Well, it's funny that they're mirroring her.
Well, that and Ethan has learned that those are the jokes that land with Kim now. She likes when you push the envelope. That pleases her. So he's able to tap into that and go with that more. And it's just okay, this is it's too easy. And it's textbook as far as the response goes with that. Again, tying back to the incestuous relationships that are not necessarily based on sexual incest that's happening, but like these weird dynamics that form.
Maybe he's got an Oedipus complex.
I don't know. Well, I mean, like, yeah, that there is like a sexual component to the jokes now, but I think that's just tying back into it was the humor, the comedic relief, the clown Ethan, but now it's updated. So it feels different. It feels new to him because it feels like it's on his terms.
It's cutting edge comedy now.
Yeah, it's like it's pushing the envelope a little bit. So it doesn't feel like he's put in the same spot, but it is familiar enough where he's comfortable with it too. So it's this weird manipulation thing that you get to see on display here. Welcome to Plathville, I guess. Like, that's the summary here.
Welcome to the wine bar.
Belly up at the bar.
I guess Kim and Barry finally got divorced?
They are trying to tell us that they are divorced. Where is the paperwork?
Yeah, we're going to need to see that.
I'm going to need to see the court documents. They're trying to say that they had things that were not apostilled. What was it?
They had to go to mediation because they couldn't get to an agreement to finally get the divorce finalized. So there was too much stuff they were fighting over. So they went to mediation, and now I guess that they've agreed on all of the things that were up in the air, and they signed the paperwork. Again, I still kind of don't believe it.
It doesn't sound like, because I think you could still file unless they have like weird contingencies as part of that agreement that they reached, which means like selling the house. So like if that's, since that's still on the market, if that hasn't sold, if that is holding up this entire process, I hope it never sells.
They put it on the market in April. It's still there, and
Yeah.
they keep reducing the price.
Yeah. So I hope it never sells.
That's
Plus-
the house that Barry's been living in.
And everybody's living in now, because then
Yeah.
Micah brought all of his stuff from Boca back. Mariah had Blackjack destroy an entire room downstairs before she moved to Montana.
Zach's still living in the attic.
Zach's kind of in the, well, no, it was he moved out, so Micah moved in. See, we had
No, they were complaining that his stuff was still in there,
Oh,
and
his
that was the
stuff.
room that Micah wanted to move into, or had to move into, because there was no other empty room.
right,
Which was like, yeah, because remember how they went to Europe for their honeymoon, guys? That's why his stuff is still there.
I don't know. He just like left a bunch of stuff here. Well, he can't bring it on his honeymoon, guys. They're not moving
Such
to
assholes.
Germany. They're not moving to Paris, unfortunately.
Is Kim getting the farm? Because she was saying she would like to live on the farm somewhere in like an RV. She's going to do the Janelle
She's
Brown
doing the
life.
Janelle, the Coyote Pass Janelle life. She just wants hookups. She's here for the hookups. I think that's her solution. But then the weird compound conversation comes into play too, because then she's talking about how it'd be great for Ethan and Micah and Isaac to all build on the property as well. That's weird. That's a little strange.
Well, what's even weirder is they're not going to let them live in the farmhouse
No.
because she's got to rent that out as an Airbnb.
Right. Obviously, that is a wedding venue. Don't worry about the shanty shacks that are over there in the woods that my sons have built. We'll make sure that the tree line separates that so they're not within view for your beautiful wedding day. That's what it's going to have on the listing. Minimal intrusions from my sons who just wander into your wedding. It's just, if it's a buffet, they're going to grab a plate. Okay. That's just part of the job.
Why does she think that's even going to happen? Because Micah was already talking about going back to Boca because he's building fences there. So he's got to go back to work. Ethan has said he doesn't think he can move down here because Tegan can't just take her kid and move to Cairo because this child has a father who's involved in her life.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Mama Plath has heard any of those things because she has something in mind for herself now.
She needs groundskeepers, right?
Well, yeah, she needs the compound. She's losing Lydia. She's not going to have anybody
Who else is going to deliver fresh towels to the Airbnbs?
Will be able to keep the towels stocked at the B&Bs.
Okay, she demands that Barry purchase her a bottle of wine.
Well, she proposes it as, you can buy me a glass if you're stingy, but a bottle is preferred. We know, Kim. We know. Because she doesn't have too many other preferences in mind. It's just a bottle of white. That's what she'll be drinking. She'll take
Anything. It was Chardonnay, right?
It has to be Chardonnay.
I do think these people hate each other. I know for a long time we were thinking they were going to get back together and that the divorce was all a sham, but watching them try to get through, like, was he here for like 25 minutes filming this? Because she never even gets the bottle.
Well, he had a non-alcoholic drink and then she had wine. So this was just weird time filler stuff. I mean, it wasn't not entertaining because, yeah, for Mama Plath at the end of this to go over to the employee at the wine bar and say, I think you have a bottle waiting for me, because Barry told her, yeah, you got your bottle waiting for you. And then he left, and then she went and asked, and then the person's like, no,
He
like,
didn't buy you a
he
bottle.
didn't buy a bottle. It was just a glass. And so now Kim has to reluctantly buy her own bottle, which, I mean,
some of the money she just got from the divorce, I'm sure.
That was going to happen anyway, too. So who are you kidding, Kim?
That was going to be bottle number 2.
Yeah, that was going to happen regardless.
When he said, bottoms up, girl. Can we just film the two of them trying to do like everyday tasks together? Like, I need them to have to run the Airbnbs together so we can see them have this uncomfortable conversation where they're really trading barbs with one another in like ways that are, I don't know, very covert.
Yeah, definitely.
This was supposed to be celebrating the divorce and like talking through the last few things that need to be done. And instead it turns into a conversation about, yeah, remember the who?
Barry here's a who.
Remember Olivia, who we both hated so much, a common enemy that maybe can turn this conversation around from where it's at?
Yes.
It's so nice not having her around again and having our beloved Ethan back.
Well,
let's reminisce on old times of what it was like to run her out of the family.
That was their greatest accomplishment, though. So, like, that is something that they're really fondly looking back on.
Not raising 9 kids.
And plus, no.
Establishing an Airbnb empire.
No.
Getting a show on TLC. It was getting rid of Olivia Marie Plath.
And now, like, kicking Veronica to the curb just kind of brought back a rush of those feelings of when they did this to Olivia. So it was just kind of like, I need to gloat on this with somebody who will really understand, because I think that was their play from the beginning anyway. But less than half a mile away in the same town, Olivia is slated to be meeting up with Ethan at a hotel today to talk, to have a conversation.
A meeting that he called.
And he set the time.
He asked her to have this meeting because he wants to talk about some things.
It's very important. We must discuss our divorce. It's very pressing matters here.
And she's here to do like a photo shoot as part of her job. And so she travels to 20 minutes from Cairo. I just want to point out how close it's
pretty close
from where he's currently
Very
at.
close. And so this has been a year and a half of Ethan dragging his feet in the divorce process that Olivia had been asking repeatedly, hey, we going to get this done? We got to get this done. We have to do this. It didn't go through.
You got to fill out your part of the paperwork that you failed to include.
Clearly you, left this empty, so we have to try again. And then now she's seeing the push from Ethan, the rush to get divorced, happens to coincide with Big Titty Tegan showing up on the scene here. Olivia ain't no dummy. She's putting 2 and 2 together where it's like, oh, clearly that's the reason here now, is that he's moving on. And so now it's a mad dash and everything's on me to get this set up again. But like, to show up 10 minutes before your scheduled meeting time here, she shows up at 3:50. They were supposed to meet at 4. So she's a little bit early, but she's on time. We then play the waiting game because Ethan's not here.
Not only is he not here, he's not really communicating with her about where he's at, when he is going to show up, if he ever is going to come.
And Olivia's just like, it's Ethan Plath. I expected nothing else.
She was like too calm, in my opinion, because this would have enraged me because he doesn't show up for 2 hours.
2 hours late. Because at first he's giving a new ETA of 5 o'clock, which would have been an hour late. And then it's closer to 6 is the actual arrival time here. So,
he's got to drive 20 minutes home. Where was she staying? Like, how far does she have to travel to get back to her hotel? Not that he gives a shit, but I'm just saying. I would have gotten up and left. I wouldn't have waited 2 hours for him.
I don't think I would have waited 2 hours either. But then I think, is that what his angle was, where he's just trying to inconvenience her so much. So then that way, if she doesn't show up, then it looks like she's the one who's not trying to get the divorce stuff figured out.
I think everything he does is designed to be a form of control over her still. Like, that's why he didn't get the divorce papers done when they needed to be updated, was because she had moved on and he hadn't yet. So he wanted to have that control over. I think that not showing up on time to the meeting was just another form of that, and to disrespect her and show that I don't really value your time.
Because he was the one who set everything up, the place, the time, and then he wasn't able to be there. He makes an entrance because you can't miss him when he rolls up now. I don't know why I always expect his car to backfire, but I just feel like it makes like a lot of pop, pop, pop sounds when it comes rolling up too. That's just how I imagine it now. He doesn't really give much of a reason, because she just kind of laughs when he walks over and is like, why are you so late? And he just says, I had stuff to do.
You had this stuff to do.
You scheduled this. You scheduled this. You did.
I didn't ask you to be here today.
This is a thing to do, too. This was a thing that was part of stuff to do today.
Then he tells the producers some bullshit in a talking head about how he was helping Barry with something on the farm, and he didn't even get it done. But he had to leave because otherwise it would be dark when he got home.
They rented equipment to cut trees, and so he had to cut the trees before
wrong day to do it.
in. Yeah.
You made plans. Do you want to get divorced or not? I think that's the only reason she hung around. Well, maybe two. One was because she actually does want to get divorced.
Well, yes.
And she'll like never hear from him again if she doesn't.
Correct.
And then also I think she knew it would look bad for her if she got up and walked away.
It would. It would absolutely look bad for her, because then they could spin that any way that they like.
They could not even show that he was late.
Yeah, that Olivia didn't show up. Oh, look at that. Here she goes again. And it's like, yeah, that's not the case.
He's got two things to say to her.
I still can't get past him walking in late and then not apologizing, because then he tries to tell her, well, that's in the past and I can't change it now. No, that's happening right now. I sat here and waited for 2 hours. This isn't something that we're arguing semantics over.
It's just such a dick move. Just sit down. Why wouldn't you just say, I'm sorry that I'm late?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got tied up with, I had something that I thought was going to wrap up at a certain time, and it clearly did not.
He's not sorry. He did it on purpose. I despise him so much.
So now the update is, oh, yeah, you remember our original paperwork? That's gone. They closed that case.
Yeah, because you let it sit for so long.
Yeah, it went uncorrected, and so they threw it out, basically. They were like, yeah, never mind on this.
So now he's got a new attorney who says he can get them divorced in 2 weeks. They just got to sign everything. They got to do the paperwork over again, basically.
Which Olivia is annoyed with, because she was the one who probably had to fill out all of the paperwork, because based on Ethan's own assessment of why the original paperwork wasn't satisfactory, was because Olivia didn't fill it out right. So she was filling out your stuff?
Someone's lying here. Olivia has been saying online that the problem was he skipped the section about his finances, that he did not want to disclose his financial information to the state.
Which I believe 100%.
I mean, it seems like that's pretty on track for what we've seen of Ethan Plath.
Yeah.
He is saying she is the one who did not fill out the financial section.
Which
with her finance information.
Okay, no, which I feel like is a loophole. I think she was filling out all of the stuff.
Because he can't type on a keyboard.
And he didn't want to do this. So if you want to pull up your laptop and go through the thing, and then he probably didn't answer stuff. And so then she hit next. So technically, did she skip that section? Yes, because you wouldn't divulge that information, sir.
Okay, that's another Barry Plath. I didn't call her a liar. I just said she embellishes.
Yeah, this is a loophole workaround. So then that way you can say it's Olivia's fault, even though you didn't provide that information.
He got kind of aggressive at one point, and it made me really uncomfortable when he leaned in towards her and was like, look, I'm not disagreeing on any of the points of the divorce.
Well, because that's the only thing that they do agree on. It's time to get divorced legally. Like, this is overdue. It should have happened a while ago. I get where Ethan was frustrated with, he doesn't want to focus on why the original one didn't work.
Oh, of course. Just like they don't want to focus on how Micah and Isaac got into a fight. That's in the past.
Yeah. Well, and like, because you didn't want that one to go through. So yeah, you don't want to focus on it because you were the reason why it did not work and why we are still here to this day trying to solve something we should have solved a year and a half ago. So that's annoying. This is frustrating now. But then he's getting frustrated with, he doesn't want to be held accountable for, you're the reason why this got fucked up. Time to try again. Even though I did like where he was like, oh, all you need to do is call my attorney and then he'll take care of everything. I'll pay for it. And it's like, yeah, you damn well better pay for it because I'm not paying for it.
She tried to, isn't it like less expensive, significantly less expensive to try to file the paperwork yourself online?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, the second thing he wants to talk to her about is he needs her to stop slandering his family online, because every time she's on a podcast or she's done like magazine spreads, like anytime that she is talking.
Magazine spreads? That sounds like you're making a Tegan accusation now. She's not Tegan.
Anytime she's been out there publicly talking about the Plaths and trashing them, someone tells him about it. And he's just the bigger person, so he hasn't said anything until now.
Well, first of all, slander is spoken. In print, it's libel. So that's different. And then also, good luck proving it, especially when truth isn't slander. If that's what happened.
First of all, try to bring that case.
I would love it.
He doesn't threaten to sue her because he can barely get a divorce attorney.
Why don't you go?
He's not following through with that.
Talk to your divorce attorney about a slander case, and then maybe they can steer you in the right direction for that.
That is incredibly hard to prove in a court of law.
So good luck with that.
She tells him, I'm not going to shut up.
There's
I'm
no way.
not going to do that. You guys were part of my life for 10 years. That's a huge chunk of my life. These are my life experiences that made me who I am. So I am going to continue talking about it.
And this is where Ethan then starts lumping Olivia in with Veronica, where now he's making this connection where it's, if there's any traits that somebody holds that's any similarity to those two people, it's the same entity now.
Yeah, well, it was like the worst thing you could be was Olivia before, but now the worst thing you could be is Veronica, just because that's like the fresh, most current experience.
Well, and it's interchangeable now, too. It's Olivia and Veronica. It's the same boogeyman that they're afraid of, this emotional thing that built up and that tries to hold them accountable for things. And it's like, ugh, don't like that. But also at the same time, Ethan is diminishing and dismissing Olivia's entire experience, saying, hey, don't talk about that stuff because it makes my family look bad. Okay, well, your family shouldn't have done horrible things to me, and then they wouldn't look bad.
Well, and he's trying to say she took little things and turned them into big things, and they really weren't that bad.
No, that's a Veronica thing. That sounds like a Veronica thing. That was not what Olivia was doing. Olivia had very real things. Because if anybody's taking little things and making them huge, I believe Kim Plath was the one who mentioned if you don't use the correct toothpaste, then you are a demon.
You're possessed by evil spirits. Yeah.
So who's making a mountain out of a molehill in that accusation? Can we kind of find a center here?
I just think it's easy to say that somebody's exaggerating something, their own personal experience and how it hurt them, when you're not the person who it was targeted at. His family never had a problem with him. It was always with her. And they blamed everything bad that happened on her. And now he wants to say, well, it wasn't really that bad. Get over it.
You know, he mentioned the golden rule at some point as well, which I thought was very interesting because the Veronica situation entirely disproves the golden rule theory that he's applying, because the golden rule being treat others the way you would like to be treated. Okay, well, your family treated Veronica like shit. So that then implies that your family would like to be treated like shit. So she did that. She followed the golden rule. You guys set the expectation and she matched the energy. That's what was going on. So that's the part that I don't understand here, is that the golden rule is always expected to be received for them. They want other people to always be nice to them, no matter how much mistreatment they dish out.
Correct. And if you're mistreated, you need to just sweep it under the rug and get over it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I didn't mean it that way. You're exaggerating. You're making it a big deal. Don't do that. Do less. So he probably did this ISO interview before Olivia started leaking the secret recordings of their conversations and their arguments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think I'm understanding Olivia's side a little bit more than Ethan's, especially when you're seeing his lens and how he's defending this. Now knowing some of those conversations that took place and how that happened.
Well, she's got a victim mentality.
Victim mentality.
Because she was a victim of you guys.
Yeah.
In multiple senses. Well, have a nice life. He's done with the conversation because she's not going to agree to do what he wants her to do.
Okay, I will say my favorite part of this was when he got mad because she's still saying, no, I'm not going to not talk about this. And he abruptly stands up and then like kind of realizes that he stood up while she's still talking. Like he stood up too soon. Like he didn't time it right. And then he just starts off by saying, very well. Very well? Verily well, I pray thee, stop slandering the name of my family.
It wasn't the moment he thought it was.
No, I laughed. I laughed very aggressively at this. This got me pretty good, actually. He did not think this through. He immediately reacted physically and realized he was standing up and had to storm out of this conversation with really leaving her with the big bombshell, too, of have a nice life.
This meeting could have been an email, right?
I mean, she didn't even need to interact with Ethan. She could have just called his attorney and then got things sorted like that. So I don't even know why she agreed to come talk about this. If there was a need to do this at all, I really don't think there was.
Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing her on Welcome to Plathville anymore.
I don't think so.
I know some of y'all are thinking, man, is this the last season? Because I fucking hate these people. We've heard that it's not. We've heard there is another season coming. I don't believe it'll include Olivia. I mean, I'm sure it will in the sense that they will not stop talking about her.
Oh, they're going to keep
bringing
talking
her
about
name
her.
up.
Yeah.
But she's not going to participate in it. What are your predictions for next season? What do you think we'll see?
If they do, yeah, it'll be Ethan and Tegan break up and then Micah starts dating her. That'd be great. That'll really do it for me.
Mama and Papa Plath continuing to argue over the details of their divorce.
Even though
That's
they
final.
celebrated it. Yeah, it's like pat themselves on the back for a job well done, but it's not actually finished.
Like they're supposed to be selling the house, but I think Barry doesn't show up every time somebody has a showing. You know, he doesn't clean the house, keeps the door locked, keeping it from selling so that he can squat in there as long as possible.
That's the goal. Yeah, he doesn't want this to finalize.
Hopefully he gets a girlfriend next season so that we can see him rub that in Mama Plath's face.
Oh boy.
We know we get the return of Ken.
I know, I really don't want
KK
it.
Ken.
I really don't want it. We'll be here to hold everyone accountable. I think that's the lesson.
That's the point, is we're not going to stop talking about them and all of the manipulative things that they're doing.
Oh, because they're terrible. They're horrible. But then I don't like when the show still casts them in a good light and glosses over things.
That's what I felt like this episode was, which is what frustrated me. Was it was like, okay, here's the absolution of the Plaths again, where like we've done nothing wrong. It's just all these other horrible people that come into our family and cause chaos.
To immediately go from the ambush of Veronica, kicking her out and outcasting her, and then go straight into Mama Plath and Ethan giggling and laughing over cigars. That just shows what the narrative is there. So that's the part that I don't like, and that's what I'm going to be sticking to, because we're calling these monsters out.
Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like production is complicit in it too, because
Right.
they don't ask them hard questions in the confessionals either. Where were they to hold them accountable for the behavior at Lydia's wedding? If none of the other people on the show were, why weren't they asking them questions about it?
So we'll see how it plays out. If there's another season, we'll cover it.
I'm holding this grudge.
I'm not over it, and I'm not walking on eggshells anymore.
In case you're wondering what's happening next on the podcast, we are recapping Seeking Sister Wife.
Those will be coming out on Tuesday mornings, and if you want early access and ad-free episodes, you can catch those over on the Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod. where we're also doing live after parties of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City every Tuesday night.
So head over to the Patreon. You don't have to sign up as a paid member. You can sign up for free, and you'll get notified when we go live at 9:30 on Tuesdays. And make sure that you're subscribed in case, maybe Seeking Sister Wives, not your thing for now, but we'll see what comes next. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is going to be coming back in November.
I don't want to commit to anything right now. I got a lot going on.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.